So I'd like to talk a little bit more about the first fundamental concept in this chapter, and then I'll address the second and third fundamental concepts in chapters 2 and 3 a bit more. So the first fundamental concept is all of our behavior and cognition is a result of the combination of our genes and the environment. There are two broad categories of genetic inheritance, and the first that I'd like to talk about is our species heredity. And these are the characteristics that make us different as humans from other animals on the planet. And the trait that produced this difference is that we have a much larger brain to body ratio than any other animal. And it's the result of a mutation that produced what's called neoteny in humans. And what neoteny is it's prolonged neurological development, delayed neurological development. And if you delay it, prolong it, stretch it out, you can produce a larger brain. So, once development is complete, it's complete. So prolonging it will produce a larger, more complicated, more complex brain. And so you can see that at birth, our brain weighs only about 350 grams, and then when our neurological development is complete in late adolescence, it weighs about 1,400 grams. So we're born incredibly immature neurologically in comparison to other species. For example, a newborn horse will get up and walk within an hour or so after birth, but a human doesn't get up and walk for about 14 months after birth. So that's you're talking about a much, much, much more immature creature when you're talking about a baby human and a baby horse. And what this has done, because our brains are very large, we have higher levels of intelligence in comparison to other animals. And so we can think things, we can understand things, we have memories, we can think about the past, and we can think about the future. We can do things with our brains cognitively that no other animal can do. And one of the biggest things that we're able to do is produce language with our very large brain, and no other animal can do that, and that allows us to cooperate and work with one another. This has also allowed us to adapt to many, many, many more environments than other animals, because with our cognition, we can come up with ways to adapt to the cold, or to adapt to the hot, or to adapt to the desert, or to adapt to the rainforest, and other animals can't do that. And this is why you'll find humans everywhere around the globe, but you'll frequently find animals only in certain places that have environments that work for them. And I think a great example of humans adapting to any environment is language, in that any baby that's born can learn the language that's spoken around them, which is different from other animals. They all have the same communication system that's part of their species heredity, and it just unfolds. But instead, we're naturally able to learn language, but we'll learn the language that's being spoken around us. So our species heredity gives us the capacity to learn language, but the environment gives us the specific language that we'll learn.